So let us know what you would like us to do and when you would like us to do it.
So, Prabhuji, maybe we can start, and some devotees will join in, I think, in between now. I mean, they will be in the process of joining in, but I think we can start.
Okay.
Prayers.
Okay. I'm not sure. We do it like a regular Bhagavatam class, or how are we doing this? Like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we did last time.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. So
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So you can start with the verse and the purport
okay.
because,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you so much,
You can
Prabhuji.
share.
and that was fine, Prabhu. Like last time, you like last time you were reading some lines of the purport and then explaining, and then Mataji was explaining, then reading further. That style is very nice.
I have to do it like that because after if I read more, I'm going to forget what I already read before, and I won't have anything to say.
Say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Gyanatimurandasya Gyananjana Shlakaya Chakshurum Militam Vena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 18.
Can everyone hear her?
Can you hear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shaiva Heto Prayate Takovido. Anybody?
Shaiva Heto Prayate Takovido.
Nalabhyate Yad Brahmatam Uparyadaha.
Nalabhyate Yad Brahmatam Uparyada.
Talabhyate Dukavad Anyata Sukham.
Talabhyate Dukavad Anyata Shukam.
Kalena Sarvatra Gabira Ramhasa.
Kalena Savatra Gabira Ramhasa.
Do word for word.
Yes.
Tasya.
Tasya.
For that purpose.
For that purpose.
Eva.
Eva.
Only.
Only.
Heto.
Heto.
Reason.
Reason.
Prayateta.
Prayateta.
Should endeavor.
Should endeavor.
Kovida.
Kovida.
One who is philosophically inclined.
One who is philosophically inclined.
Na.
Na.
Not.
Not.
Labhyate.
Labhyate.
Is not obtained.
Is not obtained.
Yet.
Yet.
What?
What?
Brahmatam.
Brahmatam.
Wandering.
Wandering.
Uparyadha.
Uparyadaha.
From top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
Tat.
Tat.
That.
That.
Labhyate.
Labhyate.
Can be obtained.
Can be obtained.
Dukavat.
Dukavat.
Like the miseries.
Like the miseries.
Anyata.
Anyata.
As a result of previous work.
As a result of previous verse.
Work.
Work.
Sukham.
Sukham.
Sense enjoyment.
Sense enjoyment.
Kalena.
Kalena.
In course of
In
time.
course of time.
Sarvatra.
Savatra.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Gabira.
Garbhira.
Subtle.
Subtle.
Ramhasa.
Ramhasa.
Progress.
Progress.
Translation. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them.
Okay, we could start reading. You want me to read?
I don't know, whatever.
You can read.
Purport. Every man everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. Some men are busy engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy, etc. And some of them are engaged in fruitive work to become happy in the next life by attaining higher planets. It is said that on the moon the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somarasa, and the Pitriloka is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment, either during this life or in the life after death. Some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangement, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing good work. But it is not to happen. By the law of the Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, can one obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, and good bodily features.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just start saying something because from the very beginning, every man everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. Some men are busy engaged in trade and so many different things, but everybody's doing everything to ultimately for them to become happy. Everything they're doing, that's their main goal, is to be happy, to be, and most people's idea of happiness is sense enjoyment. But Prabhupada explains that the miseries come. He also explains, even in other places, that just like the miseries come without our endeavoring, the happiness will come without our endeavor. We are destined in this life to get so much happiness and so much distress. And it doesn't matter what you do, you're still going to get the same amount of happiness and the same amount of distress. So why bother working to try to get more happiness, and that's your whole life's work? And Prabhupada is going in further in this purport. Not only we're looking for immediate sense gratification, we're looking for, what's going to give us sense gratification even in the future lives. So maybe if I do austerities or something, I may go to the moon and I can enjoy a better sense gratification there, or I can go to heavenly planets. But in all these endeavors for sense gratification, we're not going to get any more happiness. We're going to get the same amount of happiness no matter what we do. I mean, I'll give an experience from my personal life. I don't like looking at this. We see anything else we could look at? I mean, I'm just watching this person that's reading my train of thought, who's doing all this typing on this. And I don't know, does everyone see the same thing?
Maybe
Yes, Prabhuji. They're typing what you're speaking. They're making notes of your class.
Well, that's okay, but me watching them, it's like I can't keep my train of thought. Normally people listen, and it's but anyway, it's just you could put a picture of the deities up here. We had a picture earlier. That's fine. Or people. Anyway, it's hard for me to stay focused when it seems like people are just doing different things. I know he's writing about this, but it's hard.
I'll request everyone to please put their videos on, because otherwise it's very impersonal way. So it's better if your videos are on, and it's really seen that you are attentive in your hearing.
At least look attentive in hearing. Well, I was going to give an example from my personal life about happiness and distress. I was in the Navy, the U.S. Navy, for 4 years. And at one point, I really had enough with the whole Navy. and I was stuck there, and I was just depressed, and I didn't care what happened anymore. And I really didn't care what they did to me. I just I went on strike kind of, and they saw something was wrong, so they sent me to the doctors to see if there's something physically wrong with me. So I went there, and then they said there was nothing physically wrong with me. Then they sent me to the psychiatrist. And then when I went to the psychiatrist, I started thinking that I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out of the Navy. It's a medical discharge. It's a good discharge. I just couldn't take it. I went crazy, whatever. I don't care, but I'm going to get out. And 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 I wanted to stay depressed because if I stayed depressed, I could get out. But just thinking about getting out, I became happy and I didn't even want to. So nobody's generally looking for distress, but I wanted to stay distressed for just a little longer so I can get out of the Navy. But just thinking about getting out made me happy and I couldn't. So normally we try for happiness and then the stress still comes. In this case, I was trying for distress and I couldn't even stay distressed. You can't stay distressed. Happiness is going to come. That's people commit suicide because they're distressed and they just think there's no, it's just nothing. It doesn't get any better. But if they just stick around long enough, it will get better. Everything that's happiness and distress come and go. Certainly, there's a lot of distress, especially if someone is not taking to spiritual life. Not even just Krishna consciousness. If someone is a religious, a genuine Christian or whatever different bona fide religion, and is making their life trying to have God-centered life, then then there's a purpose to life. Otherwise, if it's just sense gratification, there's absolutely no purpose to it. It makes no sense logically. This is talking about people who are what's the word? Philosophically inclined. Anyone who's philosophically inclined can see that this material world is a horrible place and there's no purpose. What do I do? I mean, I became a devotee. Before, while I was in the Navy, after this incident happened, I just started thinking about my life. One day, laying down in my bunk, thinking about my life for maybe 20 minutes. And I changed my life after that. I just thought about it. I'm born up to 5 years old. I don't know anything. I went to school and I graduated high school. I got a job. I'm in the Navy. Now I'm going to get out of the Navy. I had a girlfriend. We're getting engaged. We're going to get married. We're going to have kids. We're going to have a house. Our kids will grow up and they're going to go to college, get a good education. They're going to, get married. They're going to have kids. I'll be a grandfather and then I'll die. And then I thought, why go through all that trouble just to die? It doesn't make sense. And I thought there has to be more to life than that. So that's when my spiritual life really began. When I started, I didn't know anything about Krishna. Never heard the word Krishna before. Actually, I did hear it because I did see the devotees chanting. But I had a friend who was a very nice Christian, and he got me a little New Testament, and my life changed after that. So if you think about life, it makes absolutely no sense unless there is some spiritual part of it. Otherwise, it's just a cent% waste of time. Next life, you'll be an animal. You think it's bad as a human? Try a dog. Try a dog in India. You really see what it's like.
Or Korea.
Or Korea or China.
Me too.
But so even for devotees who are taking the spiritual life, there's going to be happiness and distress. It's not all just fun and bliss all the time. If in the material world, there's going to be material happiness and distress. We have to become detached from this material happiness and distress. Even, we have to do our service. We have to know what our service is. We all know we should be chanting our rounds. We chant our rounds whether we're happy or we're distressed, whatever it is. and whatever other service we have to do. So that's spiritual life. Know what you have to do and what you shouldn't do, and do the things you should do, and don't do the things you shouldn't do, whether you're happy or whether you're distressed. It doesn't make a difference. You just have to be intelligent. That's philosophical intelligence. And no, distress is going to go away. Just keep doing your service, it'll go away. Don't worry about it. And even if it doesn't go away, what's the difference? Who cares? I'm only here temporarily. But it will go away because you can't be miserable always, even if you want to be. And I wanted to be at one time and it didn't work. So this is the material world. And, Prabhupada says, make the best use of a bad bargain. We had a bad bargain putting us here in this material world. And now we have to make the best use of it by trying to surrender to Krishna the most that we can. Do the most for Prabhupada that you can, trying to please Prabhupada. He's a person and he's still pleased by what we do. I mean, we just had Radhasmi. We can try to please Radharani. We try to please Prabhupada, try to please Radharani, try to please Krishna. It's all the same. Whatever, they all want the same thing. Radharani wants to please Krishna. Prabhupada wants to please Krishna. And Krishna wants to please Radharani and Prabhupada. So if we're pleasing any of them, then we're doing the right thing. And anything else is, it's a waste of time. We may be in Maya now and then, but we have to just keep getting up and trying. The Prabhupada says we're like babies. Spiritually, we're like babies. And a baby tries to walk and it falls down and it gets back up and tries to walk again. It doesn't just stop because it fell down. So spiritually, we may try and then we have some setback. Keep trying, keep trying. And whatever you do, you benefit eternally. And whatever you do materially is gone, finished. Whatever you accumulate in your wealth, it's all finished at the end of your life. I remember, of course, you guys wouldn't remember, but when President Kennedy, he got assassinated, and I remember thinking about him afterwards that he was a young man. He was, had everything. He was extremely wealthy. He's the leader of the most powerful country, and in 1 second, everything's taken away. So it's like, what is the value of this? There's a verse in the Bhagavatam. What is the value of a prolonged life wasted in experience in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. So just for a moment, if you think about life, which everyone is supposed to do, Atato Brahma Jignasa, now in the human form of life is a time to inquire about the absolute truth. Unfortunately, most people go throughout their whole life never inquiring about the absolute truth. And they just waste their whole life. And so therefore, human life is meant for self-realization, God realization. And if you use this life for that purpose, you're guaranteed to get a human birth. And if you don't use this life for that purpose, then why should you get a human birth? If you're living like an animal, a two-legged animal, better get an animal body. Hog, dog, camel, or ass. You have plenty to choose from. But of course, you get it awarded according to your desires in this life, what you want to have. But you don't need a human life to just eat, sleep, mate, and defend. Animals do that. But we, in human form, can do more than eat, sleep, mate, and defend. We can understand who we are, who God is, and our relationship with him. And that's the purpose of life. And I think this is telling us no matter what, the distress that comes, and then even the happiness that comes. Some of them was fanning, was it Daruka? Who was fanning Krishna? Daruka was fanning Krishna. And he was so ecstatic with his fanning that he wasn't fanning properly. So he controlled his ecstasy so that he can fan Krishna nice. So generally, distress interferes with our devotional service, but happiness can also interfere. We can be so happy and we're just getting too much in bliss and we're not doing our service properly. Of course, you don't generally mind doing that because you feel really good, but we shouldn't let happiness or distress interfere with our service. First is knowledge. Knowledge, jnana. That's knowing what your service is, what you should do, what you should not do. That's knowledge. And then vijnana is practical application of that knowledge, applying it to your life. So you have the knowledge and then you have to apply it. You don't just, having it, you know what you should do, but you don't do it. And then you apply it. And basically this verse is just telling us that keep going in Krishna consciousness, no matter how difficult it may become, because it will get better. There was one devotee who told Prabhupada that he was not happy. And Prabhupada says, then why do you continue with Krishna consciousness? And he said, because I know in the future I'll be happy. And Prabhupada says, yes, that is very intelligent. So even if we're not happy now, if we just keep going, we will be happy. And Krishna, he's going to give us a taste. He's going to, we may have some distress, but never going to get more than you can handle. It's always it's up to us. Every test that we get is something we can pass. It's not like it's too much. It's not possible to pass. It's our determination, how determined we are, whether we pass the test or we don't pass the test. But anyway, so that's, we'll read more. You can want to read some more. Want to comment?
Well, you pretty much said what I was thinking of saying about what's the value of prolonged life. He said pretty much anything that I planned on commenting about the Kovida. Actually, the one who is a Kovida, he's philosophically inclined. That's the beginning of human life, Otherwise, we're just polished animals if we're not philosophically inclined. If we don't use our intelligence, which is which distinguishes the human beings from animals, is the intelligence.
Well, animals have intelligence.
Materially, they use their intelligence only for material gain or sense enjoyment. But one who's philosophically inclined uses his intelligence the proper way. Real intelligence is knowing who you are, who God is, and what to do about that, and act in that relationship. That's basically, and what's the value of a prolonged life?
I did that one.
I know.
He was going to say that same verse that I said.
So here we have to remember Narada Muni is speaking to Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva, he's already Kovida, but he's telling him what he wrote about can keep people in this cycle of birth and death, in the material world. If he doesn't write about the pastimes of the personality, how can people transcend, go beyond that? This chapter is called Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's what the Bhagavatam is meant to, elevate us from being polished animals to Kovida, to real humans. Remember where we left off here? We'll continue. We see also that even in this life, one obtains a good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work. But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahmaloka and in the lowest Patala are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. He should try to get into the permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he will not be forced to come back again to this miserable material world, either in this or that planet. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life.
Miseries and what?
Miseries and mixed happiness
Mixed happiness.
are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahmaloka and in other lokas also. They are obtained in the life of the demigods and also in the life of the dogs and hogs. The miseries and mixed happiness of all living beings are only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Not even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not therefore waste time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. Flimsy things.
That's something to say.
Well, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka, from the highest planet down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. Everywhere we go, here, there's birth, death, old age, and disease. We can't escape it. It's the material world. We signed up for it. You know, this is what we got. Even devotees have to go through birth, death, old age, and disease, but only in this life, if they're Krishna conscious at the end of their life, whatever they think of, you go to, will go to that life of bliss and eternity in full knowledge, as he talks about here. Huh? Bliss and knowledge, permanent life of bliss and knowledge. Otherwise, if we don't go there, we'll be forced to come back to this planet, that planet. It's very risky business. If we don't finish up in this life, Prabhupada said it's very risky business. We could fall into bad association. We could commit offense. Many things can drag us down again into a lower species of life, which is considered the most dangerous type of fear.
I was thinking of Matras Pashas to Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukadukada Agama Paino Nityas Tamsitikshashva Bharata. This the happiness and distress. What is that?
Want to tolerate.
One has to tolerate without being disturbed. What's the at the beginning of it?
Which is best.
I know it's this
Well,
verse.
you know.
I know what it means. But
You know how it starts?
Matras Pashas to Kaunteya.
The English?
The English, Matras Pashas to Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukadukada Agano Paino Nityas Tamsis. Bharata. Happiness and distress. Basically the temporary happiness and distress. Okay, we'll look 214. Anyway, we're getting it now. She has the Bhagavad Gita. I want to get the exact English. I know what it means. Usually I know the English and I don't know the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2.14, Mataji.
Yeah, we know.
Also, the non-permanent.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Happiness.
The non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress. That's what I wanted to make distinction, because Prabhupada's mentioning in here the happiness. What kind of happiness is he saying? The mixed happiness. So the mixed happiness, that is the non-permanent happiness. But there is a permanent happiness. So the non-permanent happiness and the distress, one has to learn to tolerate without being disturbed. Without being disturbed is what I was speaking of earlier. You know what you have to do and you do it anyway. It doesn't matter whether you're happy. When you're distressed, you're disturbed, you're feeling down, you may do it without the same enthusiasm, but you still do it. And even the enthusiasm, Prabhupada said, how do you become enthusiastic? He says, by acting enthusiastic. So I think I told you this. I tell you this once before.
I think so.
I think I did. You know, I was distributing books. I wasn't distributing any books. I was kind of down. I was really feeling depressed. And I remember Prabhupada said, how do you become enthusiastic? By acting enthusiastic. So acting, I used to do acting in the temple. I never did acting before that. I was in charge of plays in Boston. I was in plays in Philadelphia and Houston. I was really into acting. So I know a little bit about acting. Like right now, I'm acting. No, but I do know that if when I played Narada Muni, I think that I'm Narada Muni. I think that I'm Narada Muni. Or if I'm playing whoever I played, Shringi, I was Shringi once too. One person in the audience told me afterwards, he said he can tell that I'm really an angry person. Because I cursed Maharaj Parikshan. I was really angry when I did it. So I acted pretty good. I was telling him I was just acting, but I was acting too good. He thought it can't be, it has to be real. But in any case, so I'm on Sankirtan doing really bad. I decided I'm going to act like I'm the most enthusiastic person in the whole world. And I started acting enthusiastic. I wasn't enthusiastic. I was just down and kind of almost depressed. I couldn't do anything, practically laying on the ground. But I got up and I didn't really lay on the ground, but that's feeling that I couldn't do anything. But I started acting like I'm the most enthusiastic person in the world. I'd go over, excuse me, sir, we're passing these out, and they'd say no, and I just kept going. I didn't let anything stop me. And then I started distributing books. People started taking the books, and then I started laughing because it was just an act. I'm just acting enthusiastic. I wasn't enthusiastic, but by acting enthusiastic, you actually become enthusiastic. So that, and Prabhupada said it, so I knew I had to try it, and I found it really worked. So even if you can't get yourself to act enthusiastically, still you make yourself, even if you drag on, you make yourself continue doing the service. You don't stop because you don't feel like it. This is like an animal. I don't feel like it. I'm not doing it. But so you make yourself do it. And there's this is the non-permanent happiness and distress. What was the word here? Happiness? Mixed happiness.
It's not pure.
Yeah, Prabhupada said the mixed happiness. And if you continue, you'll eventually get real happiness. It's not like even the gopis, they seem to be distressed, but they're not distressed. Their distress is ecstasy. They're just thinking of Krishna, and it's even more intense love in separation. And they're so feeling so distressed, but it's really ecstasy. So once you get to the point of just always remembering Krishna, I was just reading in the 12th canto about the four pillars of religiosity. You know the four pillars of religiosity? Can you tell me what they are?
See, yes. Mercy, truthfulness, cleanliness, and
Mercy,
austerity.
truth,
Truthfulness, cleanliness, and austerity.
austerities. Very good. You get 100. But in the 12th canto, instead of cleanliness, it says, it is cleanliness, but in the 12th canto, it says instead of cleanliness, it's charity. And then it says it's not mundane charity. It's distributing or helping people to become fearless. Fearless means that you're eternal. We're afraid only because we think we're these bodies. We're going to die. We're going to hurt the body. Or something in relationship with the body. Even other people, we think they're their bodies. Something happens to their bodies and we get distressed. But we're not the body. If we understand how we're not the body, then we can understand, how we are eternal, and we become fearless. So, and it also says by distributing or the fearlessness, this is the charity we're giving, and freedom. And the freedom, was explained that it's freedom from material desires. Try to imagine if you're free from all material desires, how happy you would be. These material desires, they just bring us unhappiness, not pleasure. So this charity is, of course, we have to have it in order to give it, but whatever degree we have it, we can give that much. Freedom from material desires and fearlessness. That's the charity. And so anyway, that's just found that interesting that the besides cleanliness, it also says in other places charity, and what the charity is, not just giving some beggar some money. That's not the charity they're talking about. I remember being in India, and we were both there. Where was it? At Calcutta? In Calcutta. Was it Calcutta? Yeah.
I think you told them before.
Oh, did I tell everybody this before?
Maybe they don't remember.
Anyway, I certainly don't remember, but I only got a few stories, so I probably just telling the same few stories over and over. But I like this because I got some good realizations from it. We went out and it was just getting evening in Calcutta, and we seen these people, really poor people, just sleeping on the street, not just men, women with children, like their families, they just sleep on the street. They don't have a place. And I'm thinking, what can I do to help these people? And so I thought about, even if I brought them up, took them, I gave them a 5-star hotel, I paid for the room, I give them the food, I give them everything, and then the next day they're back out on the street. Okay, then if I do it for a week, or I do it for a month, or I do it for the whole lifetime, then the next lifetime they're back out on the street again. It's like the only thing to do to help these people is by giving them Krishna consciousness, giving them something spiritual. Otherwise, it's just a complete waste of time. Just gives them a little, relief for a few minutes. You know about the dunking stool when someone commits some offense. They used to dunk them. They have a big long pole, and there's a stool on the end, and they put them in that stool, and they tie them up, and they turn the pole so it dunks them into the water, and they're underwater, and they hold them underwater, and then they bring them up from underwater. And when they come up, they think, oh, so nice. And then they go back down into, it's like just a relief from the stress is happiness. That's what we consider happiness in the material world. We're distressed and we get a little bit relief and we're happy. So that little relief doesn't do anything for us. Temporary relief doesn't do anything. We're back in the same situation. So the only way to help people really is by giving them Krishna consciousness. There's nothing else you can do. So actually, the only way we thought we can help these people is giving them prasadam. So we bought some prasadam from the temple. The next evening, we went out and gave it to a bunch of people out there. But otherwise, what's the use? Can't do anything. They weren't like interested in hearing a philosophy. That would be pretty difficult. You got to feed starving people first. So we give them prasadam. Okay, I don't know. Anybody have any questions or comments? You want to
Well, yeah, that
louder?
the pure devotee is happy in any situation, even when it appears to be a very distressful situation. I think one of our mottos in ISKCON is the verse Tate Nukampam Susamikshamano Bunjana Evatma Kritam Vipakam. That for one who goes on suffering the reactions of his past sins, even meanwhile offering obeisances to the Lord from within their heart, he obtains his rightful claim. Do you know the exact?
I don't know exact words, but that's
Something
right.
like that.
You go on suffering the reactions and you just keep doing your service, then
offering respect.
it says that there's a word in it that means you inherit it. You inherit
His rightful claim.
Diabak.
What?
Sadayabak.
Sadayabak.
Yeah.
Yes.
That the devotee, he's not disturbed in any situation because he sees Krishna behind it. Like the Pandavas were put into so much distress. Queen Kunti, she prayed for these calamities to happen again and again and again, because when they happen again and again, they remember Krishna, they see Krishna again and again, and that's the perfection. That's what gives everyone happiness. So if we see Krishna when we're in distressful conditions and understand that there's a reason for it, there's something for me to learn from this, then we won't be in such a distressful state of mind. Even when describing Maharaj Pariksit in the Bhagavatam, they say that the devotee is so forbearing, he's tolerant, he's forbearing, he's not disturbed when he's defamed, when he's offended, when so many things. Even when he's killed, the devotee is not disturbed. He's forbearing because he has the strength of Krishna behind him, understanding that Krishna is behind everything. The devotee has a shelter. People who don't have a shelter, they have nowhere to go, nothing to do. You know, they think that that's part of life. You're happy, you're sad, it's all just part of life. In the end, you die, you know?
Yeah, it says you have to learn how to take the hard knocks.
Yeah.
That's in America. You got to learn to take the hard knocks.
And
That's
you
it.
wouldn't be happy if you didn't have distress, some people think.
You're right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
you can't understand happiness without experiencing distress. But they don't know, see, they only know mixed happiness, as it talks about here. Real happiness, it comes from within. It comes from Krishna. It comes from chanting. It comes from engaging in devotional service. It comes from understanding we're not these bodies. Brahmabhuta prasannatma. There'll be no hankering or distress for the devotee because he's not the body. You saying something? You look like you're saying something. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
I was repeating the same Brahmabhuta Prasannatma.
Yeah. No hankering, no lamenting.
I think with Queen Kunti also, we can understand that when we're in distress, we should take shelter of Krishna. When there's difficulties, take shelter of Krishna. I mean, Draupadi, you know, she's, hey Krishna, hey Govinda.
Yeah.
We have to practice when things go wrong to take shelter of Krishna and not simply try to just take shelter of anything else. And we should try to figure out solutions. Just like when Devarsa Muni, he came with his armies to eat. Who was it? Duryodhana sent them there after they finished eating. So there was nothing left for him to eat. And him and his armies came to eat with the Pandavas. And the Pandavas already finished eating and they had nothing. And so Devarsa Muni's men came, and this is interesting because that I think it was Bhima, I think, told him, well, you guys go down to the river, take bath, and come back, and we'll have prasadam for you. They had nothing, and so they didn't know what to do, and I think it was Draupadi. Was it Draupadi who cried?
Yeah.
She cried, and Prabhupada says it's just like what a woman would do in such a situation. Whereas Bhima, they just trying to figure it out what to do. She didn't know what to do. But anyway, Krishna came and he says, is there any prasadam left? And they found one little piece of some vegetable in a pot, and Krishna ate it. And when he was satisfied, they were all satisfied. All the people who were starving before were full. And they couldn't come because they couldn't eat anything else. So then they just left. But it's interesting how we should try to figure out solutions to the problems. But when we realize there's nothing left, then we just have to just take shelter of Krishna. I can't do this. I can't figure it out. You have to help me because I don't have anything else. I remember, I think it was Vishnu John Swami said when there was some problems, it's not our problems, it's Krishna's problems. We just keep doing what we have to do, and Krishna's figure it out. Just taking shelter of Krishna. I remember in Boston, a practical thing. It's a long story, but I'll make it short. The city was telling us we had to put this chimney, you know what a chimney is? When you have pipes that go up to, carry the smoke. We had it outside. They said it has to go into the building. And that would have been so difficult to do. And I did everything I could think of because I was the president then at that time in Boston. And I could not do anything. So I went and I just told Radha Gopi Vallabha, I'm out of ideas. I have no idea how to solve this problem. And then he sent somebody, this one devotee, Amit Dixit. He's not initiated or anything, and he's attracted. He was brought up in Krishna consciousness, but he has some other ideas too. But anyway, he came and he knows so many people in the city that work for the city, all the big officials. And he went and he talked to them, and we didn't have to put it inside anymore. We could leave it outside. We just had to move it a little, which is we can do that. We didn't have to even do that, but they couldn't just say can't do anything. So they made us do something. But it was reasonable. But that was a problem that I tried every single thing I could do, and then I went to Krishna and told him I can't do it, and then he sent somebody to do it. So I mean, that's just one example. But we have to try. We have to use our intelligence, whatever intelligence Krishna has given us, and then if we can't figure it out, we have to just tell Krishna. I had another thing with Krishna too, with like that. I used to be the treasurer in Boston. This was many years ago, in 71, 72. And I couldn't figure it out. And something was not balanced. And I would go every week and explain to the deities, telling them how much money came in, how much money went out, what it came in from, where it went out to, because they're the proprietors. I don't think people do that anymore, but I used to do that as a treasurer every week. And I couldn't figure this out, but I had to go up and talk to them. So I'm talking to them and I'm telling them, and I said, I can't figure out where this is off. And then, like Krishna just told me, and then I saw it right there. Before that, I was spending hours trying to figure out what's off. And I went and talked to the deities, and Krishna showed me right away where the mistake was. And then everything was balanced, and it was nice. But we have to approach Krishna. He's a person.
We have to be open to different ways that Krishna might help us. There was one lecture Prabhupada mentioned, Bhakti Siddhanta gave the example of a man, he fell into a well, and people went to help him. They sent down a rope, and he said, no, Krishna will help me. Something like that. It reminded me of that helicopter story, which is just like.
Yeah. Okay, don't tell the helicopter. Keep telling this one.
Well, that was the end of it. It was very
Oh, that
short.
was the end. Oh.
Yeah, but it reminded me of the helicopter story.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a flood, and this guy is a religious guy, and he said, and the people came and told everybody has to leave. The police came and he said, no, God's gonna save me. God's gonna save me. And so he stayed, and then the flood went up to about the first floor, and the boat came by and says, come on, get in the boat. He said, no, God's gonna save me. And then the boat went up to the roof. The flood, he was on the roof, and everything was flooded up to the roof. And a helicopter dropped down on a ladder, and he said, no, God's going to save me. And then eventually he drowned. And then he saw God and says, I thought you were going to save me. He said, I sent the police. I sent a rowboat. I sent the helicopter. What more do you want me to do? Anyway, something like that.
So I think it symbolizes we have to use our intelligence in Krishna service.
Yeah, we have, yeah,
Strengthen our intelligence by hearing and chanting the instructions of the spiritual master, following them.
good. Okay, anyone have any questions or comments?
Just a few minutes left. Oh, I get to see the place there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful class. I had a question that you were talking about that we should be enthusiastic even though we are not enthusiastic, and Prabhupada was saying that be enthusiastic.
No, he said
But
act enthusiastic.
yes,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
yeah. How do you
But
become enthusiastic? He said by acting enthusiastic. Yeah, so
so
not,
I was thinking that how like can we do this, because it appears that it is kind of pretending, a kind of
yes,
duplicitous nature.
yes. I didn't know how. I was just pretending. I just know how to act, and I just decided I'm going to act enthusiastic. I was not enthusiastic. I was really down, but I acted like it. And then it really happened. I became enthusiastic just by acting. I'm telling you, it's pretending, but try it sometime. Sometime when you're not enthusiastic, remember, I remember just what I said. Act enthusiastic, and then just start acting, and then it happens, and then you start laughing because it's like, it's amazing how now I wasn't just so happy that I was enthusiastic, but by being enthusiastic, I was able to distribute the books. Before that, I was like, here, would you like one of these? You know, nobody would take any. But when I'm enthusiastic, people started taking them. And I started laughing. I honestly started laughing because it was all just an act, but it worked. So all I can say is, doesn't seem to make much sense, but if you try it, sincerely try it, it will work. You know, whatever your service is, you know, at the temple or whatever your service may be, if you don't feel like doing it so much, just act like I'm really going to do this. I'm going to do this better than anybody else can do it. That's right. Get out of here.
Maybe because it's a natural quality for us, being enlivened.
She said maybe it's because it's a natural quality for us to be enlivened. I don't know. All I know is I remembered what Prabhupada said and I did it and it worked. And I've only really did it once. Other times I get depressed and I'm just stay that way. But I just do my service whether I'm happy or depressed. But try it and just try it. That's all I can say. And if it doesn't work, I'll give you your money back.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's just pretending, but it works. I have no idea how, but it works.
Yeah, it's like when you act like Narada Muni, you feel like you're Narada Muni or Shringi.
Yeah.
We're practicing devotional service is kind of like we're
Yeah, it's just
pretending,
practicing, right? Yeah,
because we're not on that level, so it's
that's a good
practicing.
point. She said, we're practicing. This is devotional service in practice. We're not really on that level of pure devotional service, but by practicing it, it becomes pure. I just want you to remember, try it and then get back to me sometime when you just don't feel like doing it and you just get up and start doing it. Like you really want to do it, even though you don't. What's your name?
Gopal.
Gopal. And then the people are going to say, wow, what got into Gopal?
It's kind of like you don't listen to the mind, because it's the mind that gets distressed and depressed and all these things. So it's kind of like you don't listen to the mind, you go beyond it.
Well, you trick the mind.
Yeah.
You trick the mind. I'm enthusiastic. And that's it. The mind says, no, you're depressed. You don't listen to it. I'm enthusiastic. That's it. I'm not going to listen to you. Bhakti Siddhanta said in the morning you beat your mind 100 times with a shoe, and in the evening 100 times with a broomstick. So you got to beat your mind. So it's a nice way to beat your mind. When your mind, it's a fact. It's your mind that's telling you you're not enthusiastic. You're just our mind is our worst enemy. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says that in the conditioned state, it's our worst enemy. Why would you listen to your worst enemy?
Yeah, we do all the time.
No, but somehow or other we do it time and time again. Any other questions?
Comments,
Or comments?
reflections?
Hare Krishna Maharaji and Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such like enlightening class. And the last, I like that because by acting enthusiastically, as Mataji said, because that's our original nature.
Mhm.
So we are not acting, mind is acting disturbed, and we are telling the mind we are enthusiastic because originally we are enthusiastic.
Yeah,
So, like very nicely explained that
from beyond.
actually mind is disturbed, not we. And we identify with the mind and we feel disturbed. So we
Yeah.
have to act our original nature. As you said, we are practicing bhakti.
Yeah.
Bhakti is our original service, but we are practicing bhakti. Same way, originally we are enthusiastic, but we are not acting enthusiastically. So when we act, we can get out of the clutches of our mind's influence that we are disturbed. So I like that explanation in detail by both of you.
Well, that was
Thank you.
Jiva. She explains it. I just act.
Well, thank you for inviting us. Is there anything else? Otherwise, I
Yeah.
get morning service.
Madhuri and Prabhuji, please giving your association. It's our great fortune because, you know, Srila Prabhupada books are there, but we want to hear from Srila Prabhupada disciples who are living by that books. So that makes our conviction more strong. So that's why hearing from you is very, very special and important for our life because then as you both of you have said so many examples and application and like Prabhu said, because Srila Prabhupada said it, so I tried it and the result came. So that faith everyone should have that, we will do what Prabhupada has told us to do. And even if there is, and the other part I like when Prabhu said, doesn't matter even if I'm distressed, I continued with my service because this is non-permanent happiness and distress. Then other way, in the pure state, Prabhupada said, like gopis, their distress is ecstasy. So that's why taking anxiety for the mission of the spiritual master is the greatest ecstasy. So
Yeah.
it is a great fortune that we are getting this opportunity to hear from you, Mataji, and His Grace Muktavanda Prabhu. So this is very, very special. We are very grateful to you.
Anyway, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji Maharaj, thank you so much for this blessing, and it was you took out time for all of us. That is such a great blessing upon us.
Hare Krishna.
So let us thank Prabhuji and Mataji by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol!
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
See you soon again, Mataji and Prabhuji. Please keep sharing your mercy.
Yeah, you're coming soon.
Yes, but for others, we have to continue at least once a month online session. And it will be so wonderful if by December or January, everyone here in India, our Kharagpur center, get an opportunity to have an offline association when both of you are physically here, spiritually here.
I was thinking you were going to end that where everybody comes here. That's what I was waiting for. Anyway,
Yes, Prabhuji, we do remember from your last class, you were saying that sometimes people think they don't have enough service or something to focus. So then you were telling here in US temple, a lot of service is there.
yeah,
You can feel we remember. Yes.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, glories to Prabhupada.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai. His grace, Pyari Mohan Prabhu and her grace, Jeevanaushadhi Mataji ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Skabeva Chapaditana Pavani
Thank you
Bhuvas.
for the Kripas and the grace of the Vaishnava.
Glories to
Till we meet
Prabhupada.
again. Haribol.
I gotta figure out how to
Just,
hold that.
they got a little guy going out the door there.